mention, never knew no competition. But I gotta get mine, so scream my mo and let me hear ya holler. Not about that mighty dollar, roll with the bum of the. It's the Thuggish Ruggers Ball. 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 You're feeling the strip to the run, step bump, hit a funk, get a jump, that the dust is feel. Just be thugging, straight buzzing, loving your peoples, cause we so real. Chill, better bring your weapon and step and bring on that ammunition. Tripping, no sip, not to mention, never knew no competition. But I gotta get mine, so scream my mo and let me hear ya holler. Not about that mighty dollar, roll with the bum of the. It's the Thuggish Ruggers Ball.
Guys, a happy Thursday. This is one of the videos that got me through my week. This was a little girl who posed for her class picture looking like she was ready to ride out with Queen Latifah and set it off. And they put it to Thuggish Ruggers Bone. That was well done. That was well done. I don't know what it is about kids and their absolute refusal to take decent pictures. They just refuse to take decent pictures. It's kind of funny now because I remember my daughter took a couple of pictures that look like mug shots that we did not order. And then in hindsight, I'm mad we didn't order it because it would have been funny now that she takes decent pictures to have that to include with it. I also appreciate that because it is Bone Thugs and Harmony, who is I ain't gonna lie, Bone Thugs and Harmony is I'm probably in the top 5% of Bone Thugs and Harmony fans. I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. I had no idea how much, as a young person, I had no idea how much Ohio was going to be significant in my future when I'm talking about East 1999 is Cleveland. I had no idea how much Ohio would be in my future. All Ohio was when I was a kid was Craig Elo and Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's it. Craig Elo and Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's it. Shout out to Bone Thugs, man. I remember when Thuggish Ruggers Bone came out on the box. I've talked about this before, how we had the box, the little fake jukebox, video jukebox that we had in DC. I'm sure they had in other places that I'm sure record companies were up on and would just continually play their videos. Thuggish Ruggers Bone would come on for like 48 hours straight. It would be days. You would go days before seeing a different song on the box when Thuggish Ruggers Bone came out. That was the joint. That was the joint. It's the Thuggish Ruggers Bone. It's the Thuggish Ruggers Bone. I see Be Humble still out here lying on me. Talking about I'm late, even though Kit. I appreciate Kit. Kit's comment is timed at 2:00, which means I was on time. How about that? It was timed at 2:00, which means your boy was on time. So he's Be Humble out here lying on me. Shout out to Kit. Shout out to Supervillain. Shout out to Miss Muthi. I know you're on often, Miss Muthi. I haven't said your name a lot because I stumble over it and I haven't wanted to look stupid on my own live stream. So shout out to you, Miss Muthi. One thing, well, actually, let me say the first things first. Be sure to subscribe to the page. Those of you watching me on YouTube, if you would like to comment, you can find me on YouTube at Way of Waters. I'll post that in a moment. At Way of Waters. I'm live here every Thursday at 2:00 and live from my regular account at Reese Waters every Thursday at 2:00. So if you want to comment, find me at Way of Waters on YouTube. In talking to my editor, we were discussing my live streams, and I think it's, I had mentioned conversation I had with Kit about different people helping me out, being able to post video and comments and things like that. I was talking to my editor, and he wanted to try a new platform for my live that'll allow me to drop some skins on and just get a little sleeker look. So we'll probably experiment with that next week, probably on Thursday, since that stakes are much higher if we do it on a Tuesday. But we'll probably try that next week. Another thing is for the Thursday live. So if you recall, those of you regulars recall that we had a couple guests on the Thursday live, and then I've kind of fallen into, as I have had most of my time and energy and attention diverted over to the Reese Waters, the primary channel, which I'm grateful for, that's jumped off the way that it has, just past 75,000, which I have a lot of gratitude about. So that's required a lot of my attention. I haven't really had a chance to reach out to guests the way that I want to on the Thursday live. So it's really just devolved into me just talking to y'all, which I enjoy. I definitely enjoy. I would like to be able to present to you guys something different. So I'm looking for, I'm going to cast a wider net later and be specific now. If there's comedians or people who you find very entertaining, podcasters, speakers, who are kind of like non-traditional people in the mindfulness space, people that have jokes about meditation, people who have jokes about therapy, things like that, people who you think would be a good guest that we can chop it up about trying to pursue a spiritual journey in a entertaining way, approaching it from a different perspective, which is what I try and do here on this channel. If there are people who you think fit that bill, throw them in the chat, and I'll reach out to them, because I now, like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I need to start reaching out to people to start having these kinds of conversations. You can also email me at reese.waters@gmail.com. Tons of people email me suggestions for stories. So you guys have definitely responded to my call to action there. But if you guys have suggestions for guests, that would be really dope too, because I definitely want some people to be able to talk to and chop it up with on a Thursday. All right. Somebody said he just hit 3,000. The kid said he just hit 3,000. Oh, yeah. Be humble. Yeah, it probably will be OBS. It probably will be OBS. I'm a little intimidated by OBS because before I started doing StreamYard, the research that I was doing was just littered with the bodies of people that couldn't figure out OBS. And they were like, run. And I was like, okay. I'm like kind of technologically savvy, like kind of sort of like I'm running this by myself. Also, when I was talking to Kit about trying to get an emulator, and I sent him one that was on a flash drive, which I could totally understand, and then he sent me one that was like an Android box, and I had like 80 questions for how it works. So like I'm not like the best, like, man, I'm not the best. But we can try. I like now. How many lives I got under my belt now? Like we can try that. Okay. What I want to start with. Let me go to this video, which actually made me laugh about what we've been through. We can all start with a little gratitude. Snoop has been killing it on Instagram lately, though. Yo, my man had lettuce. Hold on. Is that an orange? That looks like a maxi pad. That's definitely playing. My man has a water jug. That's a filter. Bro. got a plastic bag by her ear. Trash bags. I definitely remember that. My man got a can over his face. He wrapped the dog up. She got a Brillo pad. That's a what is that, a furnace? Wow. All right. We all got through that. And also, this is also me embracing the freedom of my tiny unmonetized Way of Waters channel that I don't care about playing the music. If this was on Reese Waters, that joint have been muted. It's all good. We've all been through that. We've all been through a lot of things. We can have a little bit of gratitude about that. To your point, be humble about the price from OBS can't be beat because it's totally free. That's true. However, I still have some time left on my StreamYard subscription because I wanted to save money. So I went on a yearly plan. And I am not here for giving away money. I'm not here for giving away money. But I think what I can do here, let me ask you this. Be humble. If I stream on OBS, I guess I know the answer to my question, because if I stream on OBS, it goes to YouTube. I can just pull it off YouTube. But here's my question. If I stream on OBS, can I download the stream afterwards? So I want to be able to download the stream afterwards, and then I can stream it back. I can use StreamYard to stream it back to, say, Twitter and Facebook. Because that's the other thing about StreamYard. It allows me to stream to more than one place. But if I can stream it back as live, then it don't really matter. So let me know if I can download the stream, and we'll go from there. Okay. One thing I wanted to hit, which is some synergy between the two channels, is I had a video that I posted on my other channel about so the question I'm asking, be humble, is if I can stream to more than one place at once. Because obviously I'm going to want to stream to YouTube as like my main. So I'm going to stream to YouTube. But right now I'm streaming to YouTube and to Twitter right now. You remember I used to stream to YouTube and to Facebook previously. So that's what I'm saying. Can I stream to more than one place? And can I download the stream afterwards? Because that way then StreamYard would still be useful to me. Okay. So I posted a video on the Reese Waters channel, and it was about Clarence Thomas coming for Brown versus the Board of Education. He had a video. Oh, sorry. He had they rendered a decision about gerrymandering in South Carolina. And in that decision, he criticized Brown versus the Board of Education. And he essentially said that they gave the court too wide-ranging a power to get involved in something that should be a political matter. By the way, if there's any sort of verdict, y'all give me a heads up, because I obviously can't check the news. So if there's a verdict in the Trump trial, y'all give me a heads up. I don't have the TV on. I'm focused on y'all, so y'all give me a heads up. So one of the things I said at the end of that video, I talked about how Brown versus Board of Education was important to me because my great-grandfather was one of the people who filed a lawsuit. One of, I think it was 18. I could have that number wrong. I forget how many lawsuits were filed. It might be in the 40s. I used to know the exact number. But dozens, let's say dozens of lawsuits were filed across the country. And one of the things Thurgood Marshall and his people did was travel around, meet with the people who filed the lawsuits, and figure out what they thought was the one that they wanted to choose to marshal their resources behind. And that's the one in Topeka, Kansas. This is why we know Brown versus Board of Education. So the one that was filed in Clarendon County, South Carolina, was filed by my great-grandfather. And, they've long been leaders of the NAACP in the fight for equality in that region. So that's something that was impressed upon me as a very young person, and something that my that my mother and my family talk about and discuss a lot as part of the legacy, and talk about their experiences growing up with the backlash behind him filing that lawsuit and things like that. So it's very important to me as it relates to this conversation on a Thursday. Is I have often wondered because of how central that story and stories like it were to my indoctrination into the world and the way that I understood the world. How much that dictates my relationship with race, because it's something that I have really chosen to marshal a significant amount of my time and energy around, not just right now, but even before, when I was a comedian. I wrote jokes about it all the time. And it becomes a bit of a chicken or the egg argument, right? Because it's like, well, is it am I just somebody that is like naturally a product of being brought up in that cauldron, and so that's how I see the world? Or is that something that would have happened irrespective of me being brought up in that lineage, but something which is just kind of like a natural continuation of the legacy that my great-grandfather started? And moreover, how problematic is that? How problematic is that, right? How much does that preoccupation, if you want to call it that, or how much is that focus? Let me call it focus, because preoccupation has a negative connotation to it. How much does that focus create other blind spots for me? Real questions that I ask myself, because I can't answer this because I'm me, Obviously, it hasn't impacted my home life, at least directly. You could argue that it has still, but I wonder that sometimes. And also, too, from the standpoint of raising kids and trying to figure out exactly what load you want them to carry. Obviously, if I take a 40, 50 year macroscopic view of my relationship with my kids, this is definitely stuff that they will know, and stuff that I will make a point to communicate to them. Not only the legacy that they're coming behind, but also some of the realities of life and of our society. And it'll probably be prompted by circumstances, but at what point do you do that? Because at the time in which you decide to do that, you are you're darkening their world. You're darkening their world, and you are killing a little bit of the innocence that they were born with, that you don't ever get back. So But at the same time, I don't want them to be unaware. I can't have them walking around, not understanding certain situations and circumstances not to put themselves in. I feel like it's my responsibility as a parent to make sure that they're prepared for things like that. So, if I go back and look at my own upbringing, I think that my parents did a really good job of balancing those two. I can't tell you what age I knew what, but I think that I definitely understood those realities while being extremely naive and innocent, even to the point of when I went to high school. But I didn't exactly process it the best. I can say that. I didn't exactly process it the best because, as I've said in this space before, the environment, the predominantly Black environment that I grew up in, juxtaposed with the predominantly white schools that I went to, really affected my self-image. So I didn't exactly process it the best, but those are questions that I asked myself, and it all kind of came up as a result of, you know what, I feel this is definitely a big part of who I am and why I am the way that I am. So that's why I put it in the video. But the story behind that makes it a Thursday conversation is I don't know what that cost me. Maybe nothing. I doubt it, though. There are very few things, if anything, that don't come with some cost. So I don't know exactly what that cost me to have this focus for such a sustained period of time. That's funny. Be humble. So first of all, you're using all these big words. That actually kind of reminds me of that scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin with Kevin Hart. Well, first of all, you're using all these big words I don't understand, but I'm gonna take them as disrespect. That was funny. I'm gonna take them as disrespect. Okay. Now, I feel like we have a lot of parents. Normally have a decent amount of fathers that get on the live stream. I got a question for you. There you go, Ohio State right there. I need to turn that around. I'm not supporting them right now. I'm not supporting Ohio State. No, I'm not supporting Ohio State. Ever since they got lit up by Michigan for no reason and let them go to the national championship. Damn it. They can't get that back. My wife, she said, if Ohio State beats Michigan this year, will you be back? Maybe, but that can't undo that championship you just let them win last year. Huh? That can't undo that. You need to beat them on the way to a championship, and in doing so, cost them an opportunity to play for a championship. Can you do that? Probably not. Can you do that? I don't know if I'll be back. It makes me equally as mad looking at the Boston Celtics sitting around chilling. Now, I don't know who to root for in Minnesota versus Dallas. I'm rooting for Minnesota, but I know every game they win means they're going to be that much more gas when they get to the finals. And Boston sitting there sitting there at the harbor eating clams, waiting for whoever comes from the West, even though they're going to look like Mel Gibson at the end of Braveheart, and you fresh, chilling. It's upsetting. It is upsetting. Now, I know that we have a lot of, oh, that's funny. Romany Malco was my mentor. Oh, really? He's funny. He's a funny dude. He is a funny dude. I'm gonna take him as disrespect. I know it's we normally get a decent amount of fathers here in the chat. I have a conversation. When does it daddy time? Huh? When does the daddy love kick in? That's what I need to know. I'll tell you what happened. We were at church last week, and I had the baby. My daughter was chilling. Everything was cool. Baby would start getting a little squirmy. You know what I mean? Started like he was trying to Harlem Shake in the middle of church. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't be held. So I held him as long as I could, and I decided I'm gonna hand him off. So I handed him off to my wife. She holds him for a few minutes, and then she decides she's going to stand up and rock him and go walk to the back of the church and rock him. So she gets up, goes out in the aisle, walks to the back of the church, rock him. My daughter is sitting next to me, looks up, realizes that she's gone, and then gets up to go follow my wife. And I'm like, yo, you're good. You're good. Just like sit here next to daddy, like you good. Keeps pushing to go follow my wife. Now, I'm sitting there and I'm tight. You know what I mean? I'm tight because I'm like, you couldn't just chill. You couldn't just chill for 5 minutes. And it's literally gonna be like 5 minutes. You couldn't just chill for 5 minutes. Like you had to go. You couldn't just be by daddy for 5 minutes. Like really, you just gonna disrespect me like that and go stand by mommy in the back when you perfectly fine. All your snacks at the seat, all your activities at the seat. You got goldfish at the seat. You got a juice box at the seat. Everything at the seat. Everything. The entertainment's at the seat, which is what all things are when you're two. Everything's at the seat. You got to go stand by mama. I felt disrespected. But whatever. You know what I mean? You got to have a short memory. I let it go. They come back. Well, like 5 minutes later, they come back. They sit down. I don't remember exactly how much time passed. Maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know how much time passed. But I guess my wife had the idea that she wanted to take the baby. Or I think it was she wanted to go to the car and go get something out the car and like take the baby, rock the baby to sleep, like outside. So she gets up and walks outside, right? I'm not thinking, I was like, whatever, everything be fine, right? I see my daughter, I see the mental processes because she didn't notice that she was gone until she was outside. She was already gone. She was writing or something. She looks up, sees that my wife is gone, right? Then she starts to get up and walk down the aisle, which is you got a child running away from you in public, right? So I'm calling her back. I'm calling her, hey, no. So she stops, but she doesn't come back. And I see her like scanning the church to try and find her mama. And she can't find her anywhere. So she turns around, which if she could have seen her, no matter how far away she was going to take off. She was going to be like Usain Bolt in the Jamaican men's 4x1. She was going to take the baton and she was hitting high knees if she would have seen her mother anywhere. The only reason she came back is because she didn't see her. That's the only reason she came back. So she decides to come back. And, my daughter, as all kids, I guess you're a parent, you understand the stages that lead you to a meltdown, right? So the stages is like the sad face and then the tear. So the sad face and the tear, we hit the sad face and the tear just in her walk back to the aisle. At which point I'm like, hey, it's going to be okay. She's going to be back in like a minute or two. It's just gonna be a minute. Just sit down, just write like it's all good, like blah blah blah. Nothing. Like her defenses are locked. You know what I mean? She back there like Daniel Gafford. Like her defenses are locked. She ain't giving me nothing. So I'm like, no, it's okay. Why don't you hear? Why don't you write? Why don't you play? You got your activities. Why don't you have a snack? Blah blah blah. It'll be okay. And just nothing. All of a sudden, the open cry starts. Now, not only are we in church, this happened to be a particular quiet moment in church. They happen to be on a prayer while all this is going on. Okay. So very quickly, my mind is cycling through exactly what my options are. One of the options that I came to was just pick her up and just let her know it's going to be okay. I shook that off. I shook that off because what am I communicating by doing that? She has informed me that she is no longer okay with being with me for any amount of time when she could be with her mom and her brother. That's what she's communicated to me. Obviously, that is not a sustainable model to create a functional adult. So how does me picking her up and cradling her like a baby help push us along? I don't think it does. So I shook the catcher off on that one. No, we're not cradling her like a baby because she has to have a temper tantrum because her mom left for 5 seconds. I'm not doing that. So I'm trying to talk her through it, which is also a fool's errand too. I know there's tons of people on the internet, like you cannot rationalize with a child of 3, 2+. So she's not having any of what I'm deciding to say. It'll be fine. Just give it a minute. Why don't you write? Here's a snack. You're here with daddy. Nothing. So she just ramps up in her tantrum. She's just ramping up, louder, louder, louder. So finally, I'm like, okay, you got to take her outside. She has to go outside. But your wife is already gone with the baby. So you have a bunch of stuff here. Like we moved in. You know what I mean? We brought camping equipment. That's how much stuff we come with when we come to church. They might as well. We should probably just bring our own pew. Bring our own pew and set it up in the back. That's how much stuff we got. Okay. So I decide, you know what? And it was towards the end of church too. There wasn't a lot of time left. I decide, you know what? We out. We out. Like we out. We can't stay here. I don't feel comfortable leaving the stuff here. We out. I just gotta grab all the stuff and leave because she has decided that it is intolerable for her to be with me for any amount of time. So I do that. I grab all my stuff. And we leave. I was so mad. They have 3 exits out this church. 2 of them have stairs and 1 of them has a ramp. I was so mad. I just went to the first exit and ended up having to pick the stroller up and carry it down the stairs. I was that tight. So we go home. We get in the car. We go home. I'm trying to cycle through like exactly how I want to carry it, because I am mad, but I also want to be constructive in my response. I think it was last week. Last week was the week where she peed. We were putting her to bed and she peed. And I had the same issue. I'm like, you're mad, but you have to be constructive in your response. If the end result is for her to go to bed, you need to be cool. If the end result is to build a stronger relationship, then you wilding out is probably not going to help that. I don't know exactly what will, but again, if I'm telling you a story about last week, how I was babysitting her, clearly it ain't like we ain't ever alone. It ain't like we don't spend time together. She just decided today she don't rock with me at all. We go home. I decide, you know what, let me talk to her about it. So we had a conversation. Put her on my knee. She's more receptive then. Had a conversation. And I said, you know why we had to leave church? You know, why are you, daddy's a safe space. You know, you can be with daddy. Everything will be okay. If you're concerned or scared, you can communicate that to me as well. You know, I'm trying to, she seemed as receptive as she could be at that point in time, right? So we put her to bed for her nap. And as has become custom for her recently, she keeps getting up out the bed. So I think my wife went up and put her back the first time, maybe the first few times. But I decide, you know what? It's been enough. I'm trying to take some off her plate. So I go up there to put her back in the bed. And she just goes wild about how she wants mommy and she needs mommy to put her to bed. We just talked about this. We just had this conversation. We just had this conversation about daddy being a safe space. We just had this conversation about being a big girl. Oh, I know what the situation was. I know what it was. My bad. I misspoke. I know what the situation was. My wife asked me for help because she was trying to put the baby down and she needed my daughter to be put back in the room. That's right. So she had put my daughter down first and she was in the room quiet and then she was going to put the baby down and my daughter came out. So she asked me for help to put the daughter back so she could put the baby to sleep. That was it. So I walk in to try and calm her down, and everything that I'm saying is just ramping her right back up, right? She's not being calmed down. Hey, mommy needs to take care of the baby. I thought we said we were going to be a big girl. Remember we just talked about being a big girl when mommy has to take care of the baby, and you're okay with me. I got everything you need. Why don't you just ramp it up. I somehow was able to redirect, and I mentioned something about a blanket or something like that, and she decided that she wanted a blanket. She also stopped her cry instantaneously. That's when you know that it's a fake cry. When they stop the cry like that, that's when you know it's a fake cry. I mentioned something about a blanket, and she stopped crying, and then we were actually able to work through that. Not because she rocks with daddy. She was able to work through that because she forgot why she was mad and she decided to preoccupy herself with this blanket. So that fire was put out. But I left and I was like, how should I take this? How exactly should I be receiving what happened today? Because it's clear that two things I take from that. Your connection to mommy and your connection to mommy and the baby specifically has been built to a strength that I cannot intercede. Like I can't come into not that I want to, but actually no, sometimes I need to. When she needs to go outside, and take care of the baby, that I need to be able to come to. No, you can't always be up under mommy and the baby. That don't work. That does not work. Okay, y'all, you gonna go to school, you gonna go to college, you gonna take the baby in my like that's not gonna work. Okay, that's number one, right? Number two, it seems that the total of our experiences, right, when we're together rocking, just is rendered meaningless when you decide that it's meaningless. I'm like, I have been with you. My wife went to an event. I think I talked about that last week too. She went to an event. Yeah, because that's right. She went to the event. And that's when she peed on the bed. You watched her leave. You watched her get in the car and leave. And you were fine. But now you can't be without her for 5 seconds when we need you to be okay without her for 5 seconds. So I got in my feelings. I started thinking about that. I got in my feelings. And I was like, it's not like I think the first thing I thought about was me and my connection to my parents. So I definitely feel the closest to my mother. But I also don't think that I'm like instructive because my my mother was a single parent for a while. So, I think that developed a bond that it just, that just developed a bond. So that's a specific situation. And so I don't know that I could be considered like, the archetype, right? But most people I think of, most people I know seem to be closer to their mothers, right? So one thing, I need to be resigned to the passenger seat. Apparently, emotionally, I need to be resigned to the passenger seat. But even if I was in the passenger seat, you would have been fine rocking with me from the passenger seat. You act like I'm in the back seat. She act like I'm in the trunk. Like, no. I can be in the passenger seat. I'm not saying that me and my wife need to sword fight for who's number one in the child's hearts. Evidently you got that. Evidently, there's nothing I can do for that, right? I just have to be able to accept that. I don't know that I'm in a place to accept that today. I'm just saying, apparently, that's just something I have to accept. Apparently, that's something that I have to accept. But the fall off is just horrific. The fall off is wild. And that is what I find most problematic. To where you can't even kick it for 5 minutes on 2 different occasions and then proceeded to go home and wild out because you needed mommy to put you back to bed when she was with the baby. The fall off is such to where it's getting into the way of productive parenting and your own development. That is the level of the fall off. So I have to ask myself, well, what is it that I can do or have done to make this, to create this and to make this better? Because on the surface, it seems like, oh, well, maybe if you were around more, you spent more time, right? That's the obvious one. If you're around more, you spent more time, and then they became more accustomed to you being around. That's always going to be a possible solution, but I kind of poo-poo that. Ain't like we don't spend time together. Ain't like I'm not around. He almost says a punch to the chin, but you have to take it like a champ, as one day they will need you. Is that it? Is that it? I have to wait for the one day when they need me. You know what I'm gonna do? Hey dad, I got into a situation. at school with this credit card, and I can't get my books. I need a little something. Well, you know what? I like to tell you a story about a little girl acting up at church. Yeah, this story happened way back in 2024. You told me I wasn't worth a damn. But now you want to hold a little something for your books? Is that what you're telling me? Be humble said, let your wife be the nurturer. I think that was something we kind of had a Auntie Molly said, mommy smell better, like apple spice and roses. Speaking of which, what is the proper age for a child to have an odor? I swear, my son be playing so hard at daycare, he be coming home smelling like a middle-aged man. I almost went to Target, asked them to open up the treasure chest because you need a pirate key to open up the deodorant. I almost went to Target, asked them to open up the treasure chest in order to get him some little kitty Old Spice. You know what I mean? He come home smelling like a grown man off the playground. I'm like, my daughter's almost 3. I have yet to smell any notable scent. What's going on with him? Is this a condition? Is this a condition? B. Hamill said no grudge holding. I think I have done a admirable job up to this point not to hold grudges. But I will not renounce my rights to hold grudges in the future. I think I've done good up to this point. Let's not take advantage. Let's not take advantage. It's like Jasmine Crockett. It's like that Jasmine Crockett clip where she was responding to Michelle Obama saying, when they go low, you go high. Maybe a couple times. We're not going high in perpetuity. Oh, no. We are not going high forever. There is a limit to going high. Man. Anyway, that's just where I'm at with my chillings. Trying to find a spot. Be humble. Say, yeah, boys are different. What, when it comes to odor? I mean, I imagine boys would be right. And the way I always had it laid out for me is that boys are going to be close to their moms and girls are going to be close to their dads, right? And that was how I always had it laid out for me. Mama's boy and daddy's girl. Not 100% of the time, but those are the generally they break into those camps, right? When does daddy girl start? When does that happen? I mean, it's obviously not immediate because obviously they're going to be close to mom because they need to be breastfed and all that kind of stuff. It's obviously not immediate, but I mean, we getting up there now. We getting up there. It is time for daddy's girl to start. He said, yes, odor. Yeah, boys do be different. Boys do be different. Here, I'm gonna end y'all with this because this was hilarious to me. This is called when your husband is an introvert.
Got a whole section at the club. They're trying to see if I can pop out.
Baby, I don't care. No, you cannot go out. If you go, you might as well go move in with him because you ain't coming back here.
I don't know what's wrong.
I really didn't have the.
All right, but I'm about to ask her right now. I'm about to see if I. Oh, hey, the homeboys got a whole section at the club. They're trying to see if I can pop out.
Baby, I don't care. No, you cannot go out. If you go, you might as well go move in with him because you ain't coming back here.
I don't problem, man? She been tripping. She on her period. No, I'm definitely gonna pop out next weekend.
No, you ain't going nowhere next weekend. You're staying at home.
All right, bro. I'm gonna let you know. All right.
Was that good?
Yeah, that's good. I'll be on the game for the rest of the day.
Okay, all right, baby.
All right, bro. I'm about to ask her right now. I'm about to see if I can pop out.
Funny.
Hey, the homeboys got a whole section at the club. They trying to see if I can pop out.
Baby, I don't care. No, you cannot go out. If you go, you might as well go move in with because you ain't coming back here.
I don't know what's her problem, man. She been tripping. She on her period. No, I'm definitely gonna pop out next weekend.
No, you ain't going nowhere next weekend. You're staying at home.
All right, bro. I'm gonna let you know. All right.
Was that good?
Yeah, that's good. I'll be on the game for the rest of the day.
Okay, all right, baby.
I love this. I love this. It's funny that the comments, because like this comment right here, why even have friends at this point? Just because you don't want to run out to the club when you were invited randomly, like you have nothing going on or no plans for your day, don't mean you can't have friends. You can have friends. You just happen to be introverted. You just don't want to do all that it takes to go to the club, all that entails. If your friends were willing to come through, that might be different. You know what I mean? They want to pop out and have a cigar or something like that. That might be different. This is how introverts move. It is great. Yeah, this one has what many people fail to realize about us introverts is we want to be invited. We want to know you thought of us, but we probably ain't going. 1,000%. 1,000%. I feel seen. I feel seen. I feel seen. I want to be invited. I want to know that you thought about me. I have no interest in going. And you know what? If we are really friends, you probably know that about me. So you could go ahead and send the invitation. You get all the credit for sending the invitation. You don't even have to make an extra spot at the club. You could invite 10 people to a 6-person party, 4 of them introverts, and you good. You good. They got the invitation. They don't want to go. And one of them act like, oh, well, okay, I feel like I got to go, but they kind of hemming and hawing. Just give them the out. Be a good friend and be like, you know what? I know you got a lot going on right now, but I appreciate you considering, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's just, bro, y'all just don't understand how great it is for us introverts when we're on, especially when we're on the opposite side. Like you ever call somebody on the phone and you really don't want to talk on the phone, but you feel like you need to call this person, like they've left you a message, too much time has passed. You call them and you hear that voicemail pick up. You know when this happened all the time? After my birthday. Because you get blown up on your birthday. And unless you want to spend the whole birthday on the phone, for the next several days, you have a bunch of calls that you have to make back to friends and family and all loved ones and whatnot. And so obviously you text when you can text. But the people that call you, I feel like you want to call them back. And it's when you call that aunt, you know what I mean? Because you feel like you need to call her back for calling you and wishing you a happy birthday. You call that aunt. You finally work up the willingness, and you finally are willing to block out the 45 minutes it's going to take you to get off the phone, because you know she's going to need to give you the lowdown on everything happening with all your cousins, and she's going to need to let you know what's happening in the community and what the HOA is talking about. And she needs to talk to you about politics also, and these signs she's seeing in her yard. And she needs to talk to you about what's going on with the grass and that tree that's not growing right. When you finally find that 45-minute window that you're willing to sacrifice, and you build up the willingness to pick up the phone and call that aunt, and that bad boy start ringing, then after you don't want to jump the gun. You know what I mean? You don't want to count your eggs before they hatch. So it's probably be like the third or fourth ring before my mind even goes, wait a minute. After it rang like 3-4 times, you're like, uh-oh. 5, that's 5. 6, uh-oh. 7. Come on, big money. Then you hear that voicemail come on. Woo! Like that heaven thing. Voicemail. Oh my gosh. Why haven't they figured out a way to be able to, you can send a voice note, but it's in the iMessage. You know what I mean? I can send a voice note, but it's in the iMessage. Why can't I send a voice note that goes to somebody's voicemail? You know what I mean? If you could send a voice note that goes to somebody's voicemail, and then, because this is what you do, you have to call them real quick and hang up, and it'd be like a missed call. They won't even see it, right? Call them real quick and hang up, because you got to have a missed call. Or what you could do, now I'm thinking through this now. Or what you could do, if you could send a voice message that goes to the voicemail, and then you text them back like the next day, hey, I tried to call you, but it went right to voicemail. I left you a message. The voicemail is there. They don't know when you called. Why haven't we figured that out? We talking about SpaceX. It always goes to space. We talking about SpaceX, and y'all ain't figured out a way for introverts to be able to record audio to go to somebody's voicemail. Come on. Clearly, it's not enough of us introverts working in the technology sector. Clearly. Supervillain said those aunties want to talk. Yes, they do. They do. Be Humble said it's no such thing as a daddy's girl. That's not true. That's definitely not true. Supervillain said 2 rants in a week. Yeah, it was. This was a ranty week. All right. Before I go, I will end it the same way that I started. If you guys have any suggestions on people that it would be great for me to talk to in this space, people that you feel like have a unique way of articulating their spiritual journey, whether it be comedians or artists or whatever the case may be, I would love to get your suggestions. You can email me at reese.waters@gmail.com. I also have an email list. You can email me there to get on my email list as well. I just sent out a newsletter yesterday. So those of you that are already on it, be on the lookout for that. And be sure to subscribe to the page, turn on notifications, and don't forget to like the video. And those of you that are watching on Twitter, because I know it's a lot more of you guys watching on Twitter than on YouTube right now. If you would like to comment, be sure to subscribe to my Way of Waters channel. I'm live here every Thursday at 2:00 and live on the original Reese Waters channel every Tuesday at 2:00. So on that note, thank you guys for rocking with me. Much appreciated. Make sure you take care of yourselves. And of course, if you guys have any more thoughts on any of the stuff that I've been working on, much appreciated. Shout out to my man Kit. I see he said he's multitasking. Much love to everybody. He's been helping me out a great deal with some videos. You see the product of his labor a little bit later tonight if you are on my Reese Waters channel. So I look forward to you guys seeing that. You will definitely enjoy it. But without further ado, that is me. Much love. I am Reese.